Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Meet Menaca to celebrate you. Today, our episode 51 is about successful aging. Today, we are going to have another eminent speaker, Dr. Kantha Niranjan, who is not a stranger for anyone who is part of this platform. She is also a committee member and she has supported us from the very beginning almost. So a very big thank you and a warm welcome to Dr. Kantha Niranjan. Dr. Kantha Niranjan is born in Batticaloa, Sri Lanka, not very far from where I come from, to a non-medical parents. She was selected to study medicine in University of Peradeniya in Sri Lanka in 1975. She worked in her hometown hospital to fulfill the dream of her parents, which for 5 years in the various specialties before she moved into London in 1986 to do her postgraduate studies in medicine. She got through her MRCP examinations in 1990, qualifying her to pursue her career in medicine as a physician. She's worked in various medical specialties and finally settled down in geriatric medicine. She developed her interest in stroke, Parkinson's disease, and falls in the elderly people. So in 1995, she obtained a master's degree in the science of aging, that is gerontology, in King's College London. In 1998, she was appointed as the consultant physician for elderly people in Barking Havering Redbridge University Hospital, NHS Trust. She's still working for the same trust, reaching 24 years now. So, almost silver jubilee, hey? In 2008, she was elected as the Fellow of Royal College of Physicians, which is a prestigious award to her. In 2020, her NHS Hospital Trust has given her an award for a long-standing, high-quality, continued service for their hospital as a consultant physician, which is very rewarding for our Sri Lankan Tamil community. She also was called to House of Commons once for awarding accreditation for her award for achieving gold standard framework for end-life care, which is really a proud moment to all of us. During COVID pandemic, she was working as a frontline physician for her hospital. She's a mentor and supervises many trainees in geriatric specialty in her hospital. With her full-time working, she's very interested in charity work for helping people in her homeland. She became the first female president for MEOT, we call it, the Medical Institute of Tamil, UK registered charity in 2010. This charity supports university education for poor medical students from poor backgrounds in Northeast. Orphanages support healthcare assistant training, cataract camps, mobile medical clinics, and supported health promotion in disease prevention. She organized educational meetings for doctors and medical students from Tamil diaspora in the UK. She gives health education talks for Asian elderly people in the community in UK to increase their awareness. She travels to Sri Lanka very often to the medical charity in North and East, the people affected by poverty, war, natural disasters, illness. She's very sociable, likes networking all over the world with people with similar charity mind, and keeps herself fit and regularly walking her hobby. Beyond all this, I would love to call her my friend and a very warm welcome to the show. Today, we are going to be talking about another important topic, which is aging. And I think the twist is how we can turn it into a success. And I can't wait to know, because I have elder parents. I would think my parents have mastered that skill quite well. I'm halfway there. I wouldn't mind knowing how we can use these skills to start early to get there. So warm welcome to you, Kantha.
Thank you very much, Menaca. Thank you for inviting me today, even though I'm not new to this platform. I'm happy to be here, and whether my talk will give something, some good take-home messages for people. If that does it, so end of the talk, I'll be very happy. We'll wait to see how.
I'm positive you will. So, firstly, before all this, I just want to ask you, what is successful aging for you, and what should it be for everyone else?
Right. I think the concept of successful aging actually can be traced back to 1950, and it became popularized in 1980. The scientists from USA, actually, Rowe and Kahn, they put a model of successful aging, and they defined the successful aging as high physical, psychological, and social functioning in old age without diseases. And that part, the last part, without diseases, has been a bit controversial. Health is wealth, we all know that, and aging is unavoidable. So a lot of people rang me yesterday and talking to me and asking, are you going to suggest an elixir where the aging can be stopped or delayed? Yes, you can't stop aging, but you can delay it. That's how we have to look at how we can. Over the last decades or over this century, the lifespan has increased, definitely. The human lifespan increased. So we have to look at the lifespan from birth to 100 years. And but with the aging, there is progressive loss of adaptability in an individual. So successful aging, actually, according to I am a physician, I'm not a psychologist, so I cannot talk much because there are many psychologists, people who really expert, masters in psychological aspect in this platform. So my talk will be more on the health aspect, but health and mental well-being cannot be separated. Physical and mental have to be going hand in hand. It has to be together, integrated. So biomedical theory says there are three components of successful aging. One is absence or avoidance of disease and risk factors for disease. That is number one, avoidance of disease and absence of disease. Number two is, like every machine, everything, maintenance of physical and cognitive function. We have to maintain it. Number three is active engagement with life. Those three are very important for successful aging. So in my definition, Menaca, I would say those three are the one will lead to successful aging. And then I can go into further on that. A human organism can be viewed as a complex of clock. A clock is very important for human because age, number one is a chronological age. Number two is a biological age. So chronological age is the time, date, year you were born, and you count from that. How old are you? So if someone asks me in the comment, how old are you? I don't tell them. I feel reluctant, but a lot of people know my age who are parallel to me. and sometimes when I see a patient of my same age, and the patient has addressed to me, doctor, you are still young. I have this problem. I have that problem. And I look at her date of birth. It may be even a few months younger than me. I don't feel proud about that, but I feel sometimes, I feel very privileged and thankful for the God and my parents. I'll come back to that, why I'm saying my parents. I'll come back to that. So it is actually, the age is not always the same as its biological age. So that's where I'm coming to the biological age. There is a metabolic clock. So one clock is a normal, usual clock. Another clock is your metabolic clock in your body. So from that, this metabolic clock is mainstay in your body. Everything, the process, when you, day and night, you work during the daytime, you go to sleep, then morning, the metabolic clock has to set. It's called synchronization. It has to set clearly to start the day. So so the gradual progressive deterioration in the functional potential with age is the result of loss of coordination for this. This is controlled by the brain stem in our brain. Brain stem is in our brain is the most important part. It's a master control of the clock leading to death. If brain stem dead, person is dead. So that's why I stopped with that, but I'm going to come back, how we can set back metabolic clock delayed.
Thank you, Kantha. We definitely know, and none of us, we all are looking for that elixir all the time. I'm sure if somebody finds the elixir, I'm sure that would be the most popular commodity in the world if they do it. I know you practiced in Sri Lanka, you came to the UK, you must have had so many doors opening to you. So why did you choose the career in geriatrics? You could have chosen many other things. So what was that affection towards geriatrics for you?
Right. I started my career in a small district general hospital, sort of a peripheral unit hospital. it is a provincial hospital. We all start our job as house officers. So 6 months I did general medicine, 6 months I went to do surgery. So 6 months general medicine I did with a physician, and next 6 months I went to do the surgery with her husband. Then I come home and I have a lot of inspiration and fascination for my father, who has guided me throughout in my life to become a doctor. So one day I was telling him when I was doing surgery, Appa, I think I'm interested in surgery. Surgery is fascinating. I go into the theater, I put the gown on, I cut this, and the surgeon who was working with me allowed me to do this. And then my father was sitting there, I was having the dinner. He told me, Asati, one thing I will tell is, the physician is the person who knows everything, not the surgeon. Surgeon is the one who cut and operate. And this is the physician. And he's so the physician actually was a lady of the husband was a surgeon. And my admiration to the physician. Then he told, yes, it's a physician knows everything, and I want you to become a physician. So from that time onwards, I think, and always thought, yes, I want to become a physician. I must honestly tell you all, I'm not feeling shy to tell. Yes, I didn't want to become a geriatrician when I came to this country. I wanted to become a physician, and my special interest was in the neurological side. 1980-85 during the time, a lot of doctors came from abroad and think as overseas graduates, it's very difficult to get into a field of neurology, which has changed now. And I'm also a foreign graduate. So my first job was in geriatric medicine. Then I went back to, I really wanted to do general medicine. So I went into general medicine, very busy, do various jobs. And then finally I ended up with a professor in neurology, because career progression to come in, I went with him, and I was struggling very hard to get into a neurological senior registrar job. He was very good, but he told me, the best place where you still can practice your neurology or brain or whatever is geriatric medicine. And actually his guidance led me to get into the geriatric ladder, I must say. There are many people who are during my career who have helped me to come up to the geriatric medicine. And 25 years ago, I was appointed as a first consultant job. I say I look back, but I never look back and say I regretted for that. Where I tell my medical students, everyone who come to my ward is, in this ward, you can learn cardiology, you can learn respiration, you can learn neurology, you can learn dermatology, you can learn infectious disease. Everything is here. A mixture of place is a ward, geriatric ward, where people come in with various things. So a geriatrician should have a knowledge of all the specialties, where organ specialists will have the knowledge of that organ. In a way, sometimes I tell the medical student, I'm not good in any organs. Don't ask me detail of any organ, but I know something wrong with that organ. When they start seeing, I say, I can point out and say, wrong with this organ, and refer to a specialist. So that is geriatric medicine. That is how I ended up in geriatric medicine, and I'm happy about it. Then in 1990, I was advised by my professor who worked with me to do a master's degree in gerontology. That actually opened my eyes, because it went into the biology of aging, it went into the psychology of aging, and it's a science of aging. I went into that, and that helped me throughout my career to think widely in elderly care or aging, whatever. A lot of problems, basic fundamental problems, we're able to think about it when treating patients. I'm a person, I use less medicine. I like to use less medications for a problem. That's how I look at it. So I practice in that way.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kantha. And as ever, you have been very transparent and very forthcoming about the difficulties we have when you migrate. As someone who migrated not once, twice, I can totally understand the difficulties. And it is a lot of hoops you have to jump through to get where you got through. So I have total respect and appreciation for that, because I know as a dentist I had to start from the bottom up all over again when I came. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And we often don't think so deeply about geriatrics. So I think it's really good that you touched upon it. And I think it will also influence the upcoming students and doctors to think a bit more broader, and even parents, particularly in some communities than others, we have greater influence on what our children choose. So I think it's a good thing. Like you said, it's something about fathers and daughters, right? I think my mom always said, oh, you must do medicine. Why would you want to look at teeth all the time? Somebody's into somebody's mouth. And my father encouraged me to become a dentist. And, I took that advice. So I think we often forget how much influence we actually have from our parents. So thank you so much for touching upon those things. You said that some of your patients ask, you are young, and we all some of us get that comment or compliment sometimes, often, to see, and oh my God, we are so surprised you are that age, we never thought so much. And the vice versa can also be the true. They could seem much older for whatever reason than what it is. So why do you think, as an expert, Kantha, why do some people age more quickly than others, or have that perception of aging more quickly than others?
Right. If I go into more physiological, I will say each person varies to person to person. And the ability of each person to able to cope up with external and internal challenges. The external challenges are infection or injuries. COVID pandemic came, we all know that, where it attacked more people, more of the older people, and the people who were weak attacked, and people who died. A lot of people we lost. So that is an external challenge. People who have survived, even including a lot of my elderly patients, when they come back, when they say, I don't tell them. Some of them I tell to my juniors, I'm very glad he survived COVID. He's here now. We have to sort him out, some or rather treat him and send him home. So the external challenges are infections are major challenge. Other one is accident and injuries. So body has to cope up and heal. That's where the body mechanism lies. Number two is intrinsic changes are when the body changes. Okay, that's where it comes. Metabolic clock called basal metabolic rate. What is basal metabolic rate? A child can eat any amount, run around, come back, sit back, and then get up and run. Why the child is doing that? The child's basal metabolic rate is very high. Same thing, younger people. They work till late, then they go out, night, they come back early morning. My junior doctors, I know, some of them coming with hair not combed, this and that, and stand there doing writing. I asked, were you out last night? Yes, Dr. Niranjan, I was out. But still I can see they are back to their, body is back to their normal. But I don't do that. In my age, I can't do very late, and I make sure I have a good sleep, at least 5 hours to go. So, but because of the basal metabolic rate and the amount they are on calories and setting up is good. With aging, even though it's changed, it can change. You can make your basal metabolic rate better. Basal metabolic rate high in children, basal metabolic high in pregnant women. So it's physiologically high. Same way, some diseases can slow basal metabolic rate. How it's slow? Thyroid hormone is one of the major hormone in the neck is thyroxine you need in your body to keep your pumping. So if anyone deficient in thyroxine, they have to go. So with aging changes, if they end up in some diseases that can affect their basal metabolic rate, then they age, the body doesn't burn calories. So if the body doesn't burn calories, what you eat, you put on weight. Your knees can't carry you. You develop arthritis. Your body weight comes, you feel lazy. You don't want to get up and do. If you're active, you can get up and run. So it is like an intrinsic, it's like a factor. If you don't walk and say, your body slows down, it will slow down. So I tell most of our elderly people, if you don't use your leg, you will lose it. So same way. So one of the main factor, there are so many theories, so many things people can say, eat a lot of berries, eat a lot of fruits, eat this, red wine, white wine. They say things, change your diet, do this, do this. shall I say, the only one thing that can change or delay your aging is get up from your seat and walk. Get up and walk.
I need that advice. I totally take it.
So the factors are there. But sadly, I must say, some people, they age more quicker than others. Genetics is about 25 to 30% because now what we are seeing is our migrant population, they are coming. So last week, I met a 50-year-old coming when I was on call with myocardial infarction, a Sri Lankan chap. He told my father lived up to 90. I don't think I have a heart attack, but I had a slight pain. I came. He definitely had heart attack on that admission. So he told my father. So I asked him, your father's lived a life totally different. You are living a life totally here. You are stressed here, working day and night. You are eating wrong food. You don't eat the same food as your parents eat. So it's totally changed. But still, genetic is play. Before, if you remain in the same environment, if you lead the same life as your parents lived, if you are then your genetics helps in the same way. But it doesn't. It has changed. So that is one of the things. So genetic important as well. Number two is mainly the people, some of the diseases, they develop diabetes or any other arthritis or any other problems can actually delay. But hormones are very important. When it comes to hormones, I want to say, this I out of the way I'm not saying. In the human lifespan, females, take females, what is the disadvantage females have over male? Their body is going to put into a lot of challenges when they have a child after child, childbirth when they face the women. So it has to be stopped at some point. So natural selection or something at the age 50, menopause is one of the example of a secondary adaptation to the age-associated decline for women to stop producing children, and then they look after their health, move into and look after their grandchildren or whatever, contribute onto that. If not, think about the life is different. So it is in a way, we have to take it as a positive thing in the aging, menopause, stop that. We heard a lot of things about, but it is actually a positive thing. It doesn't happen same thing with men. Men has to remain as the same, but still they age, but they are aging slightly delayed because of the nature of the hormonal changes are delayed in them. So have I answered the question or you want to?
Yes, sir. Perfect, Kantha.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's really, really important. I just want to touch upon because it's something I'm passionate about speaking about more widely. The expert speakers did say how you can manage it. So I would, it again reiterates the fact that you can delay these things by taking the right help and solutions which are there. So yes, so thank you so much. And it is also really good to know that genetics plays a role, but a minor role than other things. I think I'm definitely gifted with my genetics for sure. I think the only thing which is keeping me the way I am is perhaps genetics. I think not the lifestyle. So yes, it is really, really good to know. And activity, of course, as commonly said in the personal development world, use it or lose it. Whether it's brain or legs or muscles, it is still the same, isn't it, Kantha? So thank you so much.
One of the things I would like to add to that is the habit of nutrition and food preferences acquired in early life will affect later the susceptibility to vascular and other diseases, and also socially determined habits like smoking and alcohol contribute to that. But if you have come from a background where you have had healthy diet, normal diet, and continued, that will be really help that.
Sure.
Cultural changes also important in that. That is how we look at now, looking at a lot of people are going back to their root, looking at the cultural things. There are a lot of positive, good things in that, how people lived and get the good out of it and then leave the bad and then leave the good. Carry on with the normal thing. But the only change has happened over the century and decades is the medical intervention, the intervention of various treatment, processes, things and that has helped people sort out Now, before they couldn't do that. That is the advantage we face. But aging has continued as it is always. And we change it. We can decide. We need to have the control of our life in ourselves to help whether we want to age early or late. It's all depend in our hand, nobody else.
Sure. And like you did mention sleep, and haven't we all been there partying late at night? And I have definitely done it. So, but how many hours would you suggest, like after a particular age? How many? I know we touched upon from different aspects. What is your secret?
Again, can I? It's a how it has kept an okay. Can I say that if I shouldn't, so in this forum, I shouldn't want anyone to feel embarrassed or anything that what I say, because it's all related to health related, the benefit I'm talking about. The factors which can prolong someone's life is less eating. When I studied about biology of aging, in the laboratory, the rodents which were kept fasting or starvation, then later when they fed, they have a longer life than the rodents they were kept fed and looked after. This is the studies clearly have shown. So that is showing is calories, if you don't burn out the calorie, what you eat become poison to your body. So you have to cut down what you eat, less eating. And it doesn't mean you have to fast. You don't need to, because a lot of people have a lot of problems. For me, for example, I can't fast because I'm a migraine sufferer. So I need to take something time to time. At least I need to have my bottle of water with me and drink it. That's very important. But there are people I notice during religious time, they say, I haven't had anything till evening. I say, it's good. I really fancy them. I really look at them. I wish I could be like that. Then I'll be more thin, but very difficult. So I'm not asking everyone to test that. So don't put your body under stress, which you can't do, thinking that other people are doing. But you can do is gently and nicely, kindly. If you are hungry, grab something and eat a small amount. Just enough to keep your hunger away. And then carry on. So that is what it comes. Small, frequent meals can be happen. Now they say there's an advantage of it. And so that's one of the things. Second thing is, obviously everybody know, fast food, fatty food, those things are bad. But time to time, you love it. You love it. You can have a certain days, you enjoy the food, certain days. But you must have on a regular habit, it mustn't be there. That shouldn't come always. Definitely, I would say, all of you, whoever are here, argue, no smoking. I'm so proud to say I come from, my father is a fully teetotaler, and all my brothers, except one, I would say, are non-smokers, because he insists so much on that. And he lived up to 91 in Sri Lanka with no medications he took. And still I wonder, I asked my brothers, how did he die? But they didn't allow me to go into the detail. They say, he lived a happy life, but I wanted to know what the cause of death was. I did not know. He collapsed and died suddenly. So 91 plus, but not in a single medication every day. And he was walking and was in the garden, the same day he died. Okay, so that is one of the things. And alcohol comes in, plays a part. Everybody say red wine, but it be moderate. Please drink moderately. You can have a drink, but everything in a small amount helpful. That's all I would say. But my personal thing is, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I have migraine, so I don't drink at all. But I have a bad habit. I like chocolates.
You are in good company.
And my grandchildren, when I go, they serve me because I take them, they secretly hide to their parents and share the chocolate with me. With your say, mom, if your mom sees, she scold me off and scold the grandchildren off. So he says, there are some things you like. I like it. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to quote myself perfect, but still attend to your medical, whatever problems early and sort it out. But generally, I feel that walking well, drinking a lot of water and things helps. Yeah.
I think when it comes to social habits, it is also, they say, you are the average of 5 people you surround yourself with. So I think if you have friends who want to go for a walk, like I do sometimes, and they will push you and prod you and say, oh, why don't you bring your walking shoes on? And then let's go for a walk. So I think it is definitely another thing to bear in mind, particularly when it comes to smoking, alcohol, all these things, I think. So you touched upon many things. Can we now focus on diet? So what kind of a role diet play in aging, Kantha?
Yeah, so that's what they say now. Because the lunchtime I walk around my ward and I watch the Caucasians. But I'm not I'm a racist in that. I watch what they eat because I'm fascinated by some patients, 95, 96, sitting there very well, came with a chest infection or something, and they eat a piece of fish with some vegetables, and they have a small ice cream, or they have a pudding, they order their meal, so they have a sweet, they have a fruit. Then I go towards the Asian meal. Yes, now Asian meal available in our hospital. Everyone coming Asian or Asian meal, rice, curry, dal, and things, that's fine. Then after a while, what happened? Commonly this happened. Then the family member come and close to this thing, and the family member brings something in a small pot and see, they feed. Then I sometime afternoons I come around and I ask, what did he give? Her blood sugar is 15.9. Then the family member come to us and tell us, my father's blood sugar is 15.9, even after coming here, is not under control. I told, yes, because he already have 11 o'clock round a meal, and now 2 o'clock, by 1 o'clock, somebody has come around. This is some of the examples I'm telling. They bring, you came and you fed, so he's not having the same thing. He's having more than what he should have in the hospital because he is in the hospital. So and also walking around and getting up is not done. They become deconditioned when they come to hospital. So diet plays an important part. What I'm trying to say is, don't change the diet. Now, smoothies come. I'm telling openly, I can't have smoothie in the morning. I must have a piece of toast with some butter and some jam on that with a coffee and go to work. But I know people have a lot of fruits and things and that, shake and thing. If you can have it, it's good. But I think it's good for younger people because it affects. If I have it, I can't go to work. I have to use the toilet a few times and it's affect my stomach. I'm telling. So what suits you, you have it. Don't copy other people and think it. Berries are good. Have a bit of berries. Have a bit of fruits. Fruits also daytime spread it and have. Do not eat more than 1 or 2 banana even. Do not eat more than that because if you are a diabetic and if you are on heart failure medications and things, you eat banana, you add potassium into that and it affects. So diet is very, very important for elderly people. But what they say is the good food should have normal diet. Unprocessed diet is the best. Not to have processed diet or processed meat or fish all the time. So there are a lot of studies on the nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, but I regularly read a lot about nutrition all the time. And it says it's usually good to have a lot of fresh vegetables, that's a plant protein. Protein also, they say plant protein, but definitely some fish and some meat helpful, especially white meat. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop eating. You eat meat, you like some whatever red meat, you can have once a way, once in a while. So I'm not asking anyone to change the daily diet, but think what you are eating, mainly unprocessed food and plant proteins and fresh things added. So if you look at our Asian diet back home, lunchtime, it's nice. You have a good lunch and evening you eat light. But here it changed. You all work daytime, come in the evening and have a full meal with all the things. And then you go to bed early. And then by the time you go, body is soaring. A lot of things goes into the store rather than they are burnt as calories. I would say for people over the age of 50, I know we go out dinner time to time, but eat by 6, maximum by 7. After that, do not eat. and then you shouldn't eat after that. It's very, very important, very important. And another thing is when the mango season comes, I see people coming into hospital, blood sugar shoots up. Everybody's I treat a lot of Southeast Asian population. They come, what is happening? No. And I saw in the stroke ward, a daughter coming in to see the father had a stroke with a box cut, nice mangoes. So I asked her, where did you buy that mangoes? I like it on the way home. I like to buy. But she told, doctor, if you want, I can give you some. I told, no, I just, for fun, I asked. It's good, but again, mangoes known to cause increased blood sugar. You can have a slice or something, but people don't think. They feel bad and sad if there are people are in hospital, they come and feed them and treat them. So that is, if we are used a normal way of living when we are in good health, our children should know what my mother or father will eat and what they don't want to eat, and carry on with that. I tell the people when they come to hospital, please stay with hospital diet. We have now modified, new caterers have come, quality control, good food. Stick to that, go home and eat. Once in a way, Saturday, Sunday, you can bring something and you can have, but don't have a habit of bringing food all the time and feeding and increasing the blood sugar, blood pressure, everything. That's one of the things.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kantha. I think everyone learned a lot about diet. So as a doctor...
Berries also same thing. Berries are good. It's actually, berries are good for memories. Blueberries and things. So we can add it some in the breakfast cereal. You add some berries and have that is good actually. That's one of the things. And nuts. In the nuts is peanut is the best, but not, it's roasted peanut, but not the fried or salted peanut is bad because they have a lot of mineral elements in that. They are good for your diet. So I know one of my friend is a friend, he's quite fit friend. He can munch nuts mixed in the car, not to carry anything else. That's all right. If you're hungry, munch some nuts. So something like that. So that is also good. I want to say add to that, nuts are good for you.
No worries. Thank you so much, Kantha. So as a doctor, you know some of the diseases associated with aging perhaps is almost unavoidable. And what is your take on it?
Yes. Sadly, one of the disease of aging is Alzheimer's dementia. Still a lot of research going on. Still people don't know why. Alzheimer's dementia, Parkinson's disease, and third one is Lewy body dementia. These three are born together. They are like siblings or twins or triplets-like. Because people have Parkinson's disease, later develop dementia, a different type of dementia. So, which is a disease of, we thought it was more Western society, but now I can see a lot of our Asians also coming with that dementia. Bit of difficult to stop it, one of the disease. But dementia can occur due to vascular causes as well. If a person had a heart attack or stroke, and if the person has not been careful, led with high cholesterol and have hypertension not treated, then their blood vessels to the brain become narrower and they cause small strokes, what they call small clots go, and they actually kill the neurons, and then small, that is called lacunar strokes, we call it. You won't know that it's happening over a period of time. Some people suddenly come and say, my father was very fit, well, he was in a very good job, come back now. What happened? His diabetes was under control. He was developing small strokes in the brain. That is called multi-infarct dementia, which is different from Alzheimer's dementia. With Alzheimer's dementia now, they say there are new drugs are available that can be given early. Alzheimer's dementia also, in the science of aging, they say accumulation of toxic material, toxic things in the brain, accumulated, and certain areas of the brain, they become concentrated. So they are called by free radical reaction, they call in the cells. So that is what they look at, how you can prevent, the research is going on, how to prevent this accumulation of toxin material in the cells, or how they can be removed, or how can then be blocked by not affecting the memory and things. So that is how the research is going on. That is how the drugs are given, blocking that effect. But still it's happening. It's still a lot of time needed. recently we heard they have found a new medicine, new elixir about amyloid plugs. That's called amyloid plugs in the brain. Amyloid plugs have been in the brain for a long time. We know that before Alzheimer's started or anything, people develop that. Amyloidosis is one of the conditions where a particular type of protein deposited in the cells and happened in the brain also as a plugs. So things like that happening, which is sometimes unavoidable, I would say, because I have some patients who are very intelligent, who have been in the high profile job, has developed Lewy body dementia. Recently, I saw somebody and I felt very sad. But then I realized, I won't say, he had a family history. He said that his brother had it and died a few years ago. The wife was telling me the brother had the same thing. So there is some genetic component also, Alzheimer's or anything.
Sure.
Other disease is the one, wear and tear, isn't it? Wear and tear, arthritis, joints, that will happen. With menopause, osteoporosis can happen to the women. So we have to look at how we can prevent that. And with aging, high blood pressure is one of the factors that can develop to heart attack and stroke. But that, to a certain extent, it can be preventable.
Sure. Thank you so much. And I think, we are definitely noticing, in particularly in, the communities we know of or interact with, more and more of these things you mentioned, because which either we were unaware of before, or it wasn't there. It could be two things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Touching upon those things, what are the diseases you can avoid, Kantha?
Definitely, I would say to a certain extent, you can delay and prevent heart problem, mainly ischemic heart disease and stroke, because there are the factors which cause this. Ischemic heart disease and stroke go in hand, and I have been involved with stroke unit care for a long time. Only now recently I come back into general geriatric, but I see a lot of stroke patients still. So that is preventable in a way. As I mentioned, all these factors are high blood pressure, treat it. If you have a heart problem, whatever, treat it. If you have high cholesterol, treat it. Diet alone doesn't help sometimes. So a lot of people go on diet and then they say, I'm okay, it doesn't help. Then blood sugar, high blood sugar, treat it. So things like that, if you treat it, you can control. Because diabetes has become a friend of everyone's family, everyone's friend now. There is a certain amount of is that it has come. So, but we have to look at how we can keep it under control, how we can control it. Shall I say one patient I had, when he was 90 years in the ward, he was diabetic for a long time. And he ended up in the ward and he stopped eating and drinking. And then the nurses were checking the blood sugar. The daughter came one day rushing and told, you stopped my father's diabetic medication. I'm not happy about it. Then I went and showed her the blood sugar chart. His blood sugar was 4.5, 5.5, 6. I told his diabetes is cured, treated. What do you mean by that? My doctor told her, I don't know, because your father doesn't eat much. His oral intake has gone down. He doesn't want tube feeding. He is happy with what is given, a small amount of feed. And so he is now, but we make sure the nutrition is met by him. I'll make sure our dietitian has come and seen, and we are giving some nutritive supplements, but he don't need them. So then I discussed this case. Really, I took it because then the diabetic consultant agreed with me. Type 2 diabetic is cured when you stop eating. The answer is that. So you can work out with that, how you can control type 2 diabetes.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Kantha.
I'm very brutal, but I say that and then say you work on it. But at the same time, I say, do not stop any medications without doctor's advice. That also I tell the patients and families. But if the doctor advice, think there is a reason for that.
Yeah, being the chocoholic dentist I am always checking my diabetic sugar level all the time. I'm very lucky so far, and I guess I have learned a thing or two now. After hearing all the experts on the platform, I have no excuse to carry on the way I do.
Still you are young. So you are carrying on that.
Thank you so much, Kantha. On a serious note, we cannot talk about successful aging without touching upon abuse of the elderly. And you are the expert in this field. And what is your take on it?
Yeah, I was a lead in my hospital for 10 years as an adult lead, safeguarding lead, to safeguard the vulnerable people on their right to able to express their wish and to have control in their lives and able to make decisions for themselves. When you go into Menaca, you know, as a dental surgeon, an elderly man coming and sitting in your chair, you are going to remove his tooth.
Yeah.
And you get his consent, isn't it?
Of course, we will have to also see the mental capacity. Yes, yes.
You have to get, and he has to sign the consent. Yes. When it comes to consent, I want to quote up my own example. My father had a fall, 88 years old. He had a fall while he was cycling as well. He used to cycle at the age of 88 into the town and back. He gave up his car by the age of 65 or 70 after we left. Then he took a cycle. We all were really worried, but he did. And he broke his hip. He told me, I'm not going to have the surgery until my daughter come here and tell what to do. But I was here, so we got him admitted. He was taken to the hospital. I was liaising with the surgeon. He refused to sign the consent form for surgery. Theater on this thing, the morning the surgeon came, he called me in the mobile. I asked him to call when he was with the father. He called me in the mobile. I really appreciated the way they handled the consent in Sri Lanka, even though it's a this thing. Called me on the mobile and asked me to speak to my father and told him to sign the consent form. And then he put various reasons. He told, why should I have the surgery? I don't need a surgery. I can get up and walk. I can do this. I can do that. No, I told, no. If you don't do the surgery, you are going to be bedridden for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. If you have the surgery, in 2 weeks' time, you will be out of the bed. That's the only thing that convinced him to sign, because he's a person he would never say in the bed. So he signed. After I have discussed and told, then the surgeon got him signed and took him to theater. Same way here. One night, a 95-year-old lady has come. I'm telling the examples in life, this happening, rather than talking about theories of things and that. Capacity and consent are very important for elderly people. When the age comes, the families should not think they have bought them, they are acting on them. Some of the children say, I have got the power of attorney for my father or mother, and I'm telling he has to go into a care home. Then you speak to the patient. Patient says, no, I lived in that house. My husband lived in the house with me 60 years. I'd rather try at home. And the patient never had a care package. So we speak to them. It is a type of emotional abuse. If a relative come and put the pressure on an elderly person, saying, I am deciding for you, agree for that, is an emotional abuse. Physical abuse, I have had patients who have the family care. Son lived with a mother. Son is a drug addict. His mother's pension, he used to buy drugs. But they had a very good relationship. Mother and son never fought. Mother gave the money. But she became unwell. She was in the bedroom. She couldn't get out. And the son was carrying on normally, took some food to her in the bed, gave everything. The lady's friend visited him the previous evening and asked, where is her mother? He told she's in the bed. And she went and found her lying in urine and feces. She couldn't get up. And she told, I had a bit of fall. After that, I couldn't walk. But my son is giving me the food and drink, everything. I'm in the bed. But she called 999. 999 came, brought her to hospital, found she had a fraction of a femur. So now he admitted, he came to the board, and then he found. We questioned, who is the carer? The son came into the ward. When I was discharging my mother, why? He has carer's allowance given by social services. He wants the mother's money. Then we raise safeguarding. So safeguarding is everybody's business. Anyone can raise safeguard. Even a neighbor can raise safeguarding for you if they find things are not right. This is very important in the elderly part. So elderly all must have a protection in plan, which really make people to worry that they have a right to say until their final state of decision making. I put another example. We don't give sweets to the children. So that we know, isn't it? Sweet is bad for the children. So the mother don't go and buy chocolate all the time. And actually, in my daughter's house, I can't take chocolate there immediately. So that is a way. So I have a elderly lady, retired pensioner, very good dish. She used to have a bit of a sherry every night. When her husband died, she slightly increased the sherry to half a bottle, and she enjoyed. She stayed at home. Her son lived in Kent. After a while, he called the son and son came and told her, I am taking the authority of you. You can't go out shopping. I'll do the shopping weekly for you, mom, and I'll come and see you. He's a very good son. He's a very caring son and the wife. So what happened? She came to hospital one day after a fall, small bit of an injury in the arm. And the A&E notes mentioned there was a bit of smell of alcohol. But she made her own self-discharge and went back home. The injury over. She came back again after a month with a fracture in the arm. Again, she was treated. She had capacity. She went back home. Nobody looked into her. What's happening? Third time, she came with fall and fracture neck of femur this time. She had to stay in hospital. Then our occupational therapist looked into that. Why you are having falls? Why many fall? The false reason was she was drinking more. She nearly finished about 3/4 bottle of sherry. So the question asked, who buy you the sherry? She told, no, my son's shopping list I give. He has to buy 6 bottles of sherry weekly and put it in the house. So, and he is a good boy. He buy, he keeps, and he goes away. And her friend come and think, she's still walking around. That's what she felt. Right. Do you think it's an accepted behavior for the son to buy 6 bottles of sherry to an elderly lady as because he has power of attorney, he has the money and this thing? It isn't it? Okay. So, so she is my patient and I am there. The daughter-in-law came and told me, I heard you are not discharging my mother-in-law. I told, no. What is the reason? I told, I raised safeguarding. She said, no. What do you mean? Why you was raising safeguarding? I told, because she is being given alcohol at home, served at home, which is not good for her health. So acting on the best interest of her, I am concerned of her coming back home. She'll continue to drink. Already her liver enzymes are in the margin. If you allow, she's going to. This has been a very fit lady. She's 75 or 76, but she had the habit of. Her problem was loneliness and depression. So we actually referred her to psychiatrists for old age. They looked at. And then finally, we had a plan and we put care package in place. We put things in place, social services took and discharge. So safeguarding is that. Safeguarding can be in any way. Same way, abuse can be physical abuse. We had a patient who was, son dragged her out of this, from the stairs down because mother refused to come down for breakfast. He was annoyed, he's angry. And he didn't do it in a purpose. He was so annoyed. Why? This woman has dementia. She forgot what she do, so he can't cope up. Lot of cases I found in this were living with that. Husband-wife problem, lot of problems happen. But I don't like to split husband and wife, but sometimes we have to split husband and wife. There is a couple there, they used to argue. They came, they were in the same ward, and the wife sit next to the husband, and they still argue, but she kissed him, darling, and come back and sit. Then the children told, no, it's a problem is worse. It's going worse. But still I felt, better they go into a same home, at least something, rather than separating them. But there are children who separate the parents. We have seen this, separate the parents and things. Why is this happening? Children are taking control. So what is the best thing for us to do? Advanced care plan. Write your life, write what you want. Suppose if you lose your mental state, what you want, and get it legally registered and keep it. You don't need to show it to anyone. Your GP can have. You have a copy and you give it to another friend or somebody, a copy to keep it so that things don't move. The lot of things happen is the decision making done is one of the major. That comes to the capacity and as a capacity.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kantha.
Happening. Elderly abuse is one of the major thing. A lot of cases happening. Elderly abuse happened in care homes. We know care homes were closed. We know a lot of cases. I know Suja Correa is being a lawyer. She's nodding her head. Yes, a lot of cases happens in that. Most of the solicitors and people abuse happening.
Sure. Thank you, Kantha. We are almost coming to the end of the show. So, I'm going to be quick in what I'm going to ask you now. Can you give a case, like might be just a very short script of where you found that what you did was rewarding to the patient?
Yeah. I have a patient in my clinic. He's coming for 5 years. He's very grateful for me to save his life, he say. I told him, no, I didn't save your life. What happened? So he is a man who was driving up to the age of 89. And one day he drove and came to the hospital to see somebody. And he found a bit of funny turn. And from the car park, somebody brought him into A&E. He didn't have much medications to take. And on admission, we found he had a very slow heart rate. Very slow heart rate. Heart rate is less than 40 is very significant. Between 40 and 60, a lot of athletes have slow heart rate. So admitted him, and then he was slightly confused. He did not know where he parked the car. He did not know why he came to hospital. And what we found in his ECG is a slow heart rate. And that night, we referred him to cardiology. And by the time the daughter arrived to the hospital, and she told us, this is how I say he don't listen, he drives the car, his car has to be taken out of him, he goes wherever he wants, and various things. She says, in a way, she put us to us, he has to go into home. Now, no way you are sending him back to his own house, sort him out. And the day, he's in a state of delirium. Delirium is not dementia. Delirium is an acute confusion. It can occur to anyone. During COVID time, we found so many people became delirium, lack of oxygen. So like that, his heart became slower, oxygen out was slow, so his brain became slightly confused. So I admitted him, brought to our ward. It took a week for him to recover. He had a pacemaker put on the next day, and he couldn't have the consent. He couldn't give consent, delirium, but I spoke to the daughter, convinced her, and then with the two specialists has to sign and agree, and he had a pacemaker put in, and slowly he returned to normal, and therapists worked on him. Very, 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 very good fit person. So now the ischemic heart disease is there partly, but he had a normal cholesterol, normal thing. Anyhow, the cardiologist advised the usual mixture of the elixir of aspirin and statin and beta blocker don't need to be given pacemaker, but a small dose of sort of an anti-hypertensive drug, ramipril, every elixir, he improved. So the 5th day, we were planning discharge. The discharge was very difficult. The occupational therapists have to force the daughter to give the key to visit his house. And the therapist came and told, it's well-kept, nice flat he had. It's a ground floor flat. Since his wife died, he lived there. And we sent him home. And he's coming to my clinic every week. So if we have listened to the daughter, that evening he's admitted on delirium and have not done anything, thinking that he has dementia or whatever, if you have gone along, not done any intervention, he would have ended up somewhere and he would have not returned back. So so the patient is very grateful, and I'm very happy to see him. He survived COVID. So he came to the clinic and I was so happy. He had both vaccines and things. He still come to check the blood pressure. So there are a lot of things in people treating the elderly people. For the treatable problem, treat them and get them back on their feet, get them back on their independence. But only thing I advise him is, give up the car driving because it's a bit of risky. And he agreed. He gave up the car.
Thank you. Kudos to you. Well done, Kantha. A take-home message to audience, 5 points. What are the most important, in the cocktail of elixir? What would you say the 5 things?
Be positive. I didn't touch on the social, psychological aspect of aging. Very important. That is how we have joined. We have joined in various groups. Menaca is one of them, I should say. Any group, anything. Keep the positive people with you. Move with positive people. When you age, what you want to hear is a good stories, good life. I may have made some people depressed by my talk, but what I'm selling is the worst thing. But at the same time, rewarding things I'm telling, grouping, do not worry about, especially husband and wife. When you age, you see you have two different interests. Try to solve that in a way. Let the other person do what his interests are. Let you do what your interests are. Do not try to hang on and drag each other and fight. Honestly, I don't do that. A lot of people know my life, know my husband, know that. We do what we want to do, agree on the points what you agree, and be happy and say. Second thing, important part of it, you can't change other people, like Menaca says. So you need to be, so that important part of aging is positiveness looking at. Another thing I would say for people, do not go and discuss with your medical problems all the time with various people. Trust your doctor. If you are not sure, get another opinion. You can go for a third opinion also, but don't go and ring and ask many opinions. This happened during COVID vaccine time. I know we had our specialist in vaccine. He told either you take the vaccine or get the virus. There is no choice. So I started telling that to many people. Many people get annoyed with me that I'm not listening. When they start telling, I say, please take the vaccine or take the virus. No choice. So thing like that, don't go and ask people again and again. Have some people who are closer to you discuss. When you go in socially and sit with people, especially aging, this happened, do not complain of your illness to them all the time. Enjoy that time, talk. Later, if you want, get the number, come home and speak. Do not have the habit. There are some people that give a negative aspect of you to others and make you feel. The people who think positively, talk positively are successful. Why? They are not successful. They have so many problems behind, but they don't want to discuss. They don't want to talk. They tend to look at what is good. Like Menaca say, count the blessings and carry on. In health is very important. Third thing is, if you need to have a joint replacement or anything to be done, surgery done, don't delay it. Do it now. When you go to a doctor, doctor say you need cataract surgery, do it. Some people come back, ring me, ring there, do I hear, do I can? Please, the doctor has told. Yeah, did you go see an eye surgeon? I asked, yes. What did the eye surgeon say? Cataract. Go to cataract, have it done. So like that, do not delay. Joint people, a lot of people now say 10 years ago, that specialist told me I should have the knee replacement. Doctor, now the orthopedic surgeons are not coming near me. I won't blame them. You have put on weight. You didn't do the joint surgery at the time, didn't walk. Now you are 10, 15 kilos more. Orthopedic surgeons are very scared to touch on your knee. Anesthetists won't come on anesthetic. So like that, don't delay surgeries. Don't delay medical opinion. If you see a lump or bump, take the opinion quickly. Go to your doctor. Pester your doctor. Ask the doctor to appointment and do that. And do not stop the drugs what you are taking unless advised by this thing. Especially hypertension. Many people are now stopping hypertension. COVID time, after COVID, I have seen many people have come not taking their blood pressure tablets, blood pressure shooting up, end up in so. So those are the few things I want to say. As geriatricians, sometimes my husband say, your job is you're putting people end of life, don't talk to me. I say, I do that finally because for them to have the journey. But geriatricians, make sure you all are not rationalized by age. I will go into the cardiologist room. One patient have an aortic stenosis, a block, and 90 years. I told the cardiologist, is there any contraindication? He cannot have the aortic valve TAVI, we call, valve replacement done through the artery. He told, no, Kantha, if you say, then I'll do. Please do it. So he did it to improve it. So we all are champ, but we are the sort of ambassadors for people, for elderly people age, that you have your treatment surgery done when you want it. So don't underestimate the geriatrician thinking, they are given up. No. But same time, be optimistic. Sometimes we say, don't go, this is, you have come to the end stage. Look at what you can do. You want to see your grandchildren. I have joined many families. One of the lady told, I want to see my grandchild somewhere before I died. I told the daughter, bring the grandson, show your grandson, she want to see. She told, no, I don't talk to my nephew because my brother don't speak to him. I don't, it doesn't matter, your brother don't speak to you. Please bring his son and see the grandmother. I must know this happened by tomorrow. The next day, her nephew, she don't speak to the nephew because she don't speak to the brother, came to see the grandmother holding the hand. And it really touched me, things like that. So like that, whatever you wish you do not delay. If you wish, do not scared to talk as because you are older. You have control of your life. Stay positive. That's all I wanted.
Thank you so much, Kantha. It was a great talk. And like we learned, I think out of all the topics we spoke about, and today, this morning, actually, as I was speaking to my mom, and she said, you told me a long time back, the only person you can change is yourself. After many years, now I have decided the same thing after many years. So I think at least one thing I've got it right is that. So before we wind this up, next week, we are going to be speaking about gender-based violence. That will be Dr. Rita Dinesh from Tamil Nadu, India. She's a director of human rights. She's also a global Goodwill Ambassadors, which I am also a part of. And she is a state secretary of Women's Cell, All India Reporters Association, so that's called IRA. She's the ambassador of Global Socioeconomics and Financial Network. She's also official volunteer of International Human Rights Commission, that is IHRC. She's the advisor of International Media, National Council for News and Broadcasting, NCNB, star director, TN World Aid Organization for Human Rights. And she is also head of Tamil Nadu Research Foundation of India. She has many, many more accolades, but today I think I'm going to wrap it up with that. And I cannot wait for Dr. Rita Dinesh to be coming and speaking another important topic of gender-based violence. Now, over to you, my friend Kirbe Kohut, to give the vote of thanks.
What an amazing sharing, a very candid sharing. But before I go into the thanks and giving thanks for Kantha's talk, I would like to thank the participants on Facebook. We want to celebrate you and for your support to Meet Menaca talk show. And for all those who come and support Meet Menaca celebrating you talk show, we want to give you our appreciation and thanks for your time and support. But lastly, and not least, because Kantha has been very special to Meet Menaca talk show, because her contributions are invaluable. So in short, as always, I love to do acronyms for names. So Kantha for me and for everyone on the platform, especially the committee, and for I think many of the patients will echo this, K stands for kindness. A stands for ageless. Kantha is very ageless. N for a nurturing nature. T for being very thoughtful towards people, towards anyone she meets, very thoughtful. Her humane heart. She represents many charities locally and also in Sri Lanka. And she has this heart to serve and to show kindness in many different ways. And for A stands for abundance and accompances of abundance, an epitome of abundance. Kantha, we love you and we thank you for this sharing. And we want to once again say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kiruba, for giving this opportunity to talk. And if not for Menaca and you all, I wouldn't have been here, but some messages would have been helpful for people, that's all. Sure. I'm very humbled and honored by you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much. And a huge thank you to you, Kantha. It was an amazing talk. And it was something which a lot of people had to hear. And it's a topic which is becoming more closer and closer to my heart as my parents are growing older. So which is, which is inevitable, like you said sometimes. Thank you so much. A huge thank you for all the participants for being here. People who are on the Zoom, please hang on. You will all get a chance to ask the speaker whatever you want in a minute. For people who are listening to us in Facebook, next time, same place, we will be speaking another topic which I'm very passionate about, gender-based violence. And so please do join us. And as ever, please support us to grow and share these messages far and wide by supporting to grow our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and please hit the bell icon instead of sending us an email and text to ask, when are we going to upload the next video? That would be really, really helpful. Thank you so much as ever. So until we see you next time, for the Facebook folks, it's that time of the day to say goodbye. Stay safe, be happy, and keep smiling.